like your backdrop.
Thank you. It's a painting from Vancouver that I just always sit in front of. It's just, I know you're a big art guy too. So
I love art. I think it's one of those things that just you find the colors inspires you, the angles, the colors, the shapes.
yeah, you typically paint abstract. Is that right?
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
I grew up painting, I guess, fruits and landscapes and all these things you play around with as a young fella, and now it's kind of just doodling. And I think I picked it up again during the pandemic, and I was like, I miss this. Just
Yeah.
there's certain things that I'm sure you did as a young girl, such as maybe dancing or singing, and you don't do it as much as you once did. So when you do it, it's fun, right? It
I
brings you
know.
back.
And you realize how much you do miss. And I'm sure for you, it's probably a big stress release. And
Yeah,
I know.
it's an outlet.
Yeah, exactly.
It's funny because during the pandemic, I also stopped drinking. So the whole social element of going out and with your friends and all that changed a little bit. And I was like, oh man, now what am I going to do? Picked up podcasting and obviously painting.
Yeah, well, good for you. You've got to find those outlets, and that's the thing too. Like I know, like the drinking thing. I know. I find as I get older too, there's days I'm like, you've got to plan and coordinate it. It's not. We're not young. No. It takes a while to recover.
It hurts.
It does. It does hurt.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I saw your posts. How's Vancouver doing?
It was amazing. Yeah. We went out there for my husband's birthday and just we did the bike around Stanley Park. We went and saw the weekend. Tons of amazing, beautiful dinners. It was without kids, so it was very relaxing. Just a quick break, 3 nights, but it was awesome.
How many kiddos you guys got?
2 boys. They're 11 and 9.
Wow. Yeah. So you're a busy mom.
Yeah, it's so busy, and it's always finding that work-life balance. So it's just picking and choosing the projects that work for me, being able to say no to the ones that I'm not able to do now, which was hard because I think growing up I was always, I would say, a people pleaser. You don't want to say no, you want to try to do as much as you can. But once I had those boys, and I think the pandemic actually, like, podcasting for you became more relevant to me. I've got to use my time more wisely, and say no to projects and don't have the burnout, with the boys around. I've just got to make sure I've got as much time with them as possible and not, be missing them or feeling that mom guilt that just never goes away.
What was it? Today it's been nice, but the last 2 days kind of started ramping up on podcasting again. I said, okay, I kind of got the energy. I'm feeling recharged, and September's coming around. Let's get going again. Mm-hmm. But I got to remind myself, like the last 2 days, it was 3 podcasts a day. So 7 podcasts I've done now.
Wow.
This week. You're the 8th. And I'm thinking, what the hell am I doing?
Yeah, exactly. But no, it's funny how you say that. Even me, like, we got back late last night and I'm already just like, oh, like today it's just been meetings and it all, and like this kid's going back to school next week. And I made a very conscious effort over summer to just dial back work almost completely. Like I would say August, it was very minimal work because same thing, the burnout, and I can already feel it ramping up. And I'm like, here we go. September's coming. But I think once the kids are back in school, everything's just easier to manage. Just while they're home, I just want to make sure I utilize and take advantage of that time with them. It goes by too quick.
Have you ever gone through a burnout?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. For the listeners, what was like a burnout for you?
For me, I went through a phase where I was literally probably at the time hosting 5 different shows, writing for those shows, producing those shows. And I remember, like, I just had trouble sometimes just getting out of bed because I was just so exhausted. I loved everything I did, but it was too much all at the same time. And then I think when you're that busy, the quality, it just starts to go down, and you're realizing, okay, at this point in my life, it's quality over quantity. And that's where I'm like, I have to say no. And so it took me, pulling back. And I think a real lesson for me was once I had the kids, I'm like, I just can't let that burn. This is before kids, that burnout happened. And so having the kids was like a big wake up call. Like you're already tired because of being a mom. Now you have to make sure that energy is well spent on projects that you're passionate about. So,
and you can get pulled in every direction. Hey, Jenny, can we have a little piece of you here? Hey, yes. Jenny. And if you're a yes person, it can get draining real quick.
Real quick. And especially when I find for me too, like some people say, okay, I'm just a producer. but I do producing, I do a bit of modeling, I do acting, a bit of directing. Like there's so many different facets that I do that it's like, okay, which hat am I putting on today? And even that can
Right.
be exhausting, switching on and off from project to project. So
After kids, the power of saying no without giving excuses, how was that? Because, oftentimes,
mm,
sorry, I'm just so busy right now, or got the kids, or my dog is sick. I don't know. Everyone can make up some sort of an excuses. How are you able to say no and at times not feel guilty about it?
it's so hard. It's so hard. But I think, to be honest, a lot of the times the reason I say no is because I'll already have an existing project going on. So I just
Uh,
physically cannot do it. So
cannot.
that also helps. So I just say, I'm sorry, but I'm currently tied up with another project. But there's been, especially over summer, a lot that's come my way, but I just have to say, I'm sorry, it's just not the right timing.
Mhm.
I'm busy with the family. And I think a lot of people, especially after pandemic, respect that. And
Of
it's like,
course.
okay, yeah, your family comes first. And that's, I just have to remind myself, you don't need to give an excuse. You're just not available. And if they accept that, great. If they don't, you
Sorry.
want what's best for yourself. Yeah.
Because, we live in a world where the internet can slash you, lash you, praise you. Do you ever get scared of the judgment or opinions of others? I mean, we all have it. We're
Hmm.
human beings.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
how, the power of saying no and then worrying, oh my God, are they gonna worrying about what others will think of you, I guess, let's say
Mhm.
it like that.
That's one of the main reasons why I literally didn't join Instagram up until about 2 years ago, because I was just like, I feel like I'm already out there so
Yeah.
much with my TV career that I was like, this is just one more area that I'm giving people a little lifeline into my everyday life. And
Hmm.
so I just find, I'm a very private person when it comes to my personal life. And even right now, my Instagram is primarily a online resume with like
Hmm.
a few snippets of my family life, because I do feel like there people are harsh out there. And I'll knock on wood, I've been very grateful so far that I haven't had um trolls or people kind of judging or criticizing me. But I think it's because I do keep so much of my personal life private. So if they want to knock a project I do, go for it. Like, but when it becomes personal, that's when I think people can really, it starts affecting your mental health. And so I do find I have a very strict boundary around what I put out
Hmm.
there. And with my work, I choose the projects that I'm proud of. So there's no worry of, being judged. And if they do judge, that's fine. But this was a project that I was passionate about. So I stand by it and I stand for it.
When you look at mental health today, how has yours been? And then overall as a community, have you seen things shift?
Hmm. Big time. My mental health, it's great right now. I'm gonna be
Love
over
it.
the pandemic. I'm not gonna lie, homeschooling put me over the edge. And it was just, I wasn't ready to be juggling my career and being a full-time teacher to my kids, plus their mental health. It was so hard on them, it was
Hmm.
hard on the family. We're all working from our laptops. That was a struggle, but I've got such an amazing network of friends and family that we all support each other through it, help each other with our kids. And I think because of that hard time, it's just made me more cognizant of mental health right now. Like I can feel when I'm getting to that tipping point. It's like, okay, I need a break. I've got to pull back from these projects. I've got to get back to my walks, my reading, my music, all the things that can just bring my anxiety down, because anxiety is a real thing. And I think that's another reason with social media, it creates this unneeded anxiety because everyone's just comparing their lives to everybody else. And
Hmm.
half the time it's just everybody's best moments, not the real moments.
No.
So it's just making your own boundaries, which it's like less social media, more family time, focus on the projects that I want to work on as opposed to something I feel I have to do.
Right.
And saying no, it's hard, but just say no. At the end of the day, it's better for everyone else. You don't want to be working on something that your heart isn't in, because they'll feel it, you'll feel it, and then you'll look back and kind of just go, was that where I wanted to spend that time?
When
Mhm.
you look back at, I guess, pre-pandemic, our lives were so different. It was like a rat race we were on,
Yes. Yeah.
and I don't know if we knew boundaries. I don't know if we knew um, when we have anxiety to take that pause and go for that walk, like you said, or listen to
Mhm.
music. Were you always tuned in on that, or no? Yeah, same here.
No, my husband and I, we laughed. There was a people that I want to see. I'm going to the events that I want to support. Whereas there was a time when I said yes to everything.
Hmm.
And it was full on social. and physical burnout.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with the party, but that party
Yeah.
will always be there.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. You're not missing out. Get
No.
rid of the FOMO.
Exactly. What are some of the lessons you learned throughout the pandemic that now you're applying to your everyday life?
Hmm. I think one of them would be obviously just taking, I became way more aware of self-care.
Yeah.
I think as a mom, it's just so easy to give everything you have to your kids and your family. And I think over the pandemic, when I was feeling that burnout, it was less guilt for taking time for myself, which was like, you know what, guys, I'm going to go read my book for an hour, listen to my music, put on my sage diffuser and have like
Yes.
a bit of Zen time, a bit of yoga, for my body. I've never been a big meditator, but even like listening to Calm, I got into Calm, one of those apps where I just realized I needed to take more time for myself. And I'm still using that now. Like, I'll just
Mm,
make sure if I feel that anxiety getting a bit higher, it's like, okay, time to bring everything down, focus on yourself, take that time for you and not feel guilty. Because I think the guilt of stealing that time away from myself was something I had a really hard time with.
yeah.
And then over the pandemic, it was like, forget the guilt. This is a way of coping and staying sane. So,
Yeah.
and the boys are older. So my kids understand more like, okay, mom needs a break, dad needs a break. They're at an age now where they can sense it too. So that also helps because when they're young, they need you
Yeah.
nonstop. And they still
Of
do.
course.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think the parents, friends of mine that have kiddos, how they had to shift their minds, not just work wise, life wise, but now you got these
Mm.
little ones you got to teach.
Patience. Patience was also something that I got. I mean, I grew up as a dance teacher, so I taught kids from a very young age, and I always loved being around children. But I remember even thinking that my teaching background came in huge over the pandemic, having to teach my own kids and become their teacher and just walk away, take a breather, don't get frustrated. Because there were just moments I was like, what is happening? But yeah, patience is something that from the pandemic that I still brought over
Mm,
now.
yeah.
Still use.
Do you see the film industry and TV as a whole growing as a sector here in Alberta, or is it still Vancouver and Toronto as the major hubs?
Vancouver and Toronto are still the hubs for Canada, but Calgary is getting such an influx of productions and, huge shows are coming here. We just had The Last of Us, we've got Fargo, Under the Banner of Heaven, My Life with the Walter Boys. There's these huge productions all coming, which we've never had before. So I think everybody in the film industry is just so excited for what's still to come because it's kind of unheard of here in Calgary. We are getting some big names coming through, and Calgary's, getting their place on the map, which is super exciting.
It's super cool to go through downtown earlier this year and you see, actually not long ago, The Last of Us being shot.
Yeah, yeah, it was insane. I know. I had an audition, and I was so close for that one. I didn't get it, but
Yeah.
that show was. I mean, I can't wait for it to come
Oh
out,
yeah.
and it's
I
going to
mean, it
be.
was in the middle of the night. I think, I don't know what I was doing. I was coming home. I think it was from Banff or somewhere, driving through downtown, and you're like, "What? You're filming in the night? You got cranes out and their Humvees and all that." I was like, "Okay, that is just such a cool set. It's exciting." Yeah.
And they transformed Calgary. I mean, Calgary literally looked like an apocalyptic, like zombie town. Like the way yeah, you would drive by and just be shocked at what they could do. So
Memorial Drive and their flyover, they had all that stuff going on there.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Have we had some big names in terms of celebrities film
yeah.
here
We
as well?
had Kate Beckinsale was here. She was shooting Guilty Party.
Oh yes, in Inglewood.
Yeah, in Inglewood, and Pedro Pascal. And then what's it coming? Fargo. I think John Hamm is tied to that one. I think
Oh
he's
yes, yes.
one of the main characters. So he'll be coming in. And then we had oh gosh, yeah, my brain right now. But there's been a lot of
Yeah.
big names.
Yeah.
Yeah, coming
You've
in.
interviewed some big names before too.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
The Rock.
yeah, The Rock, he was honestly one of my favorite interviews. I mean, he obviously, as soon as he heard us from Calgary, he was pretty pumped because he wanted to talk with the Stampeders. And his presence is as big as he is a person. Like he's just
Yeah.
so lovely to talk to. And he was so inviting. But I have to say too, very humbling for me was George Clooney. I got him on a red carpet and he was whizzing by. And I literally, have my mic out. I'm like, a
Mhm.
question from Canada. And he just ripped over and he gave me all the time in the world. And I remember just thinking, this is George Clooney. Like he's one of the biggest names out there. And he's just I don't know if he just thought, okay, she's a young little producer, let me give her this break. But I was so grateful, and he was so lovely, and I was kind of blown away. Yeah.
When you meet these people, and actually other individuals, I think you realize, and I hopefully the listeners realize, they're no different than you or I or anybody.
Yeah.
Everybody's human.
Yeah.
What makes, say, The Rock larger than life? His personality. What did he have? That
It's
energy. Yeah.
it's that energy. You're talking to him, and he's talking to you. You know what I mean? There's
Mm,
certain people, I don't know, I in my life, there's certain people that you talk to, and they're kind of looking around you or seeing what else is out there. When you're talking to The Rock, it just felt like he was so invested in this interview and giving you the time and the answers. And there's definitely some celebrities who I won't name where it's just
mm,
like one word answers, move, 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 let's go. They're just on their junket, circuit, they want to get it done. But The Rock, he just, and like George Clooney, they gave you all the time, and every question you asked, they thought about it, they answered it thoroughly. They
right.
wanted to make sure that you got what you needed. And I think with The Rock too, it was his personality. He was just so bubbly and excited to be there. And not a lot of celebrities are excited to be there. They're just doing it because they have to. You could tell he wanted to be there,
Yeah.
and he was excited to promote his film and talk about Calgary, his time with the Stamps. And
It's pretty cool. He was the Sunshine Boy, as we've seen that famous picture.
yes, I know. It's pretty unbelievable.
I mean, what a story of just from where he came and where
I
he's gone today.
know.
Like,
I
and
know.
it's cool to have someone from Calgary, isn't it? Like,
It
even
is.
even though you just put your feet here for a little bit, we're excited.
It really is. And I think even growing up in the dance world, like Tate McRae is another one where she was a Calgary dancer, and watching her career take off. She's going to be another one. I mark my words where we're going to be like, can you believe she was from Calgary? Because she's just on this mission right now. And it's exciting to watch her career. And she was just, yeah, a local Calgary dancer, and then became a singer. And now she's taken over the world.
When you were interviewing all those celebrities, what show was that on? I can't remember.
So that
Your
was
producer for.
a few different shows. So some of them was for a show called Hollywood's 10 Best, which it was basically a clip show talking about like, Hollywood's 10 best action movies or Hollywood's
Super
10
cool. Yeah.
best romantic movies. And then there was also Celebrity Style Story, which
Yes,
aired
that
on
one I've
E.
heard. Yeah.
That one aired on E, which were a lot of the interviews. There was also The Role That Changed My Life, which same thing. It
Oh
was
yeah.
interviewing celebrities and talking about that one role that they got that kind of changed their career path. It was a lot of our clip shows that we
Mm.
did those interviews for.
Do you feel like that has shifted now? As when you look back, a lot of it was, oh my God, to be on TV, but now you're seeing people on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube just growing these channels. Like,
Completely.
I'm-
The
yeah,
TV industry has changed completely, and you do feel like a lot of those clip shows they don't have the same relevance today because, like you said, everybody, those interviews are all over Instagram. They're all over everybody's social media. All those celebrities have their own Instagram where they post their
mhm.
own interviews. So it's not, they've lost that almost like not the appeal, but like that
Exclusivity, right?
exclusivity. Exactly. They've lost that. And so I think it's changing, and people are, it's more about like the reality TV now, and like
Mhm.
the Kardashian kind of style shows where
Yeah.
it's like the behind the scenes and the real life of the celebrities that people still want to get because that's not as readily available. But yeah, it's changed. It's changed a lot, but
It's funny when you bring up the Kardashians. So- I was watching something and they said they're famous for being the Kardashians. Isn't
yeah,
that
it,
crazy?
that's exactly it. They're famous just for being who they are.
It's like life is already busy. I don't need that. Yeah.
That's exactly. I don't need that kind of noise in my life. Let's watch
Mhm,
something a bit calm that I can turn my brain off and just
mhm.
enjoy.
Have you ever listened to a guided meditation?
No, I haven't
Yeah.
actually.
That is beautiful. It is so peaceful. Yeah.
I need to. My dad is super into meditation. He's been trying for years to get me into it. And he does it every morning, and he swears by it. And I have a lot of friends that have gotten into it as well. Do you do it as
I
well?
do it. I usually do it in the evenings or when I'm about to sleep.
Yeah.
I'll put on something and, she'll just kind of guide you through and say, drop your shoulders. Because oftentimes we're in bed like a
Yeah.
little clenched and we don't realize it. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let go. Yeah.
Yeah. Big time. Let go. I know. I should actually try because I've heard from too many people. It
Yeah.
works wonders. And like you said, the shoulders, you can just feel them. Even like getting back from our little getaway, I'm like, it's first day back, and the shoulders are already starting to creep up. Every meeting, every call, you can just feel it.
There've been some Zoom calls or some podcasts. I'm like, whoa, why are my shoulders like this? Like,
I know.
you never realize what you, yeah.
Your body's
There's-
giving you all the signals to just take it easy.
Going to Vancouver, not only celebrating your hubby's birthday, but being out there, what did it do for you? Did it recharge you guys? Did it bring inner peace? What did it do?
There's just something about the water. Like we have a place out at Sylvan Lake, and there's something about being around water that just brings a calm, the smells, the sounds. It's just a different energy. And as soon as you're, for me, actually, as soon as I'm around water, I just instantly feel more at peace and at calm. And same thing, as soon as we pull up to the lake at the cabin, it's my happy place. I love the water and I love the mountains. Those are the two places where I find I can really just turn off and just be in the moment. And yeah, Vancouver, that's the same thing. I made sure every restaurant we went to was like, can we please be on the patio? I want to be as close to the water
Mhm.
as possible and enjoy this because, as we know, summers in Calgary are so short lived.
I mean, can you imagine? September's next week. This is
No,
insane.
it's next week. The kids go back to school next week. I just feel like summer just started because our spring was so hit and miss.
It was like, yeah, so much rain, which was good for farmers, but
Yeah, yeah.
for everyday individuals, come on, where's the sunshine?
I know. No fires this year, so that was a
Thank
blessing.
goodness, knock on wood.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah.
No, that was really nice to see. Um, where can we find you? Is there any exciting things happening or projects or
Yeah.
events?
Yeah, no. So we've got a few projects coming up. We actually just got nominated for an AMPIA for one of our children's series. So it's called Jungle Gym. It just got nominated for Best Children's Series, which right now it's with TELUS. And so we're hoping to do more of those in the future. And then we've got a few docs in the works. One is going to be at the Calgary International Film Festival, I believe on September 23rd is the premiere of that one. So that one's called Francesca, Prairie Queen. And it's a beautiful documentary that we did with my company that I work with my partner Laura O'Grady called Snapshot Studios. And so that one is a beautiful documentary on an individual who is from the Philippines and she's moved here and is trying to um, live her dream of becoming a professional drag queen, but she still has to provide for her family back home. So it's the struggles that she goes through in everyday life while also trying to pursue her dream. And then we've got a few others coming up, which I don't know if I can quite talk about them yet, but there's lots of docs coming up. And then I did a small stint on My Life with the Walter Boys for some acting. That'll be coming out, I believe, in about a year. And then I had a role on the movie called Left Behind, which will be in theaters. I don't have the release date yet for that one. Kevin Sorbo directed that one here in Calgary. He used to be Hercules. I don't know if you remember the old.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow,
I know that.
wow.
So he directed, I think he also starred in that one. So that one's coming out. And then a few Hallmark movies. One was called Key to Love, and one was called it was called For the Love of Pasta, but now I think it's called From Rome. Oh, Amore, something Amore. But yeah, there's a lot of movies coming out.
And when you want to be a producer or create a film, is there a good support system and ecosystem here in Alberta?
Yeah, there is. I mean, there's a lot of the CMF, the Canadian Media Fund for grants. That's a big help. There's a lot of support. You've got to apply for grants. And I mean, luckily my colleague Laura O'Grady, who I work with, she's the brains behind all of the financials when we do productions. But it's out there, but you do have to dig and apply. But once you get the support, it's great to get going. And yeah, there's a lot of support for young and up and coming producers for sure.
And I love what Story Hive's doing. They've got some interesting docs. They've got some little shows. It's so cool.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, TELUS is pretty incredible with supporting young artists.
Yeah, I love it. Well, thanks so much, Jenny, for your time.
Thank you for having me. It was so great to finally connect.